These are the basics.
Really good details and enthusiasm.
Word choices, the images, the metaphors, engage with what the author has written.
In your own words.
Think about storytellers in your life.
Those words are going to tell you more about the author than you ever thought possible.
You're making decisions about
You
your
do
writing.
have a place in the overall conversation
on paper.
See where your story goes from there.
Good luck.
Hey guys, I am Alexandra Morano and I am talking to you today about everyone's favorite subject, plagiarism. So the definition for plagiarism is over here, and this definition is probably very similar to the definition that you find in your course materials. So when we're defining plagiarism, we define it this way. Plagiarism is intentionally or unintentionally using images, words, or ideas from another person, website, article, book, or any source, published or unpublished, and then passing those words off, or ideas, or etc., so on, images, passing them off as your own. That's essentially the idea of plagiarism, and you don't want to commit plagiarism. This is a pretty important lesson in English 111. You want to understand this deeply because as you continue to write papers in your college career, it's going to be important that you're careful about citing the information that you use. When we talk about plagiarism, there are several types of plagiarism. The first type of plagiarism is called global plagiarism. I'm going to define this one for you so you know what it is, but you're never going to do it because you're not a cheater, right? Great. So global plagiarism is when you take a whole paper from somewhere else, put your name on it, and then submit it as your own. See? Pretty shady, so don't do that. The second type of plagiarism is cut and paste plagiarism. That's when a student or someone would take a paragraph of information or several sentences, insert them in a paper, and fail to cite them or quote them or give any indication that those sentences or that paragraph came from somewhere else. That's cut and paste plagiarism, named because you would cut it and then paste it, right? Or not you, but the terrible shady student. Careless plagiarism is when a student might accidentally take a few words or a phrase or like half a sentence and include it in a paper accidentally. Like perhaps that student meant to cite that material and then got busy in their paper and forgot. This is a pretty common type of plagiarism and one that you definitely want to protect yourself from by being very careful about your research. When you are writing a first draft of a paper, if you're including an idea or some words from another source, put it in your paper and make a note there, even if it's not in perfect MLA format. Do something so that you know you got that information from somewhere else. And when you're working on your final draft, you can cite it appropriately. Finally, most instructors consider resubmission of an assignment to be plagiarism. This would be if you wrote a paper for another class or wrote a paper for a previous version of this class, perhaps that you took and dropped, and then you tried to submit that paper again for the new class that you're in. That's a resubmission of an assignment, and most instructors consider it plagiarism because every time you take a class, you should be writing the work fresh. That's how you learn. All right? A few helpful hints here. First of all, direct quotes always need quotation marks, and they always need a citation. When you are taking an idea or when you're paraphrasing a source, you must include a citation, although when you're paraphrasing or just taking an idea, you wouldn't have direct quotes. Some other helpful hints to keep in mind. If you are taking more than like a handful of words, say 3 words, from a source, then those words should be in quotation marks. So don't just take half a sentence or a phrase from a source and not cite it appropriately. If you're lifting a direct quote or a direct phrase from a source, you have to quote it and you have to cite it. Finally, a helpful hint is when in doubt, cite. Good luck.